Hello everyone and welcome back to Tanya Files. Alright, so I know I've made a few videos about dogs and I'm going to be making a lot of them because I want people to understand why I have such issues with them. Thankfully not everyone has criticized me about it, but one thing you have to understand is that everyone is afraid of something and you really shouldn't judge someone's phobia. Okay, let's see. But in this video, I'm actually going to talk about one dog in the family that was actually very rare based on the way they were around me. Okay? And to be honest, if all dogs were like this dog, I wouldn't have a dog phobia. So when I was a kid, my aunt had 2 German Shepherds, and yeah, the fact that they were so big, that obviously didn't help. But to be honest, it doesn't matter if a dog is big or small. If it's a dog, I'm scared of it. Now, one of her dogs was all black, and his name was Cole. And he was basically the typical dog. He was always in your personal space, just sniffing you a lot, and I'm like, okay, you know who I am, now go away. I just didn't like it when dogs were in your personal space and all this other stuff. But she had another German Shepherd who had white fur, and her name was Nanette, but I think my sister had trouble pronouncing her name at that time because we were both little at that time. So her nickname was White One. But I'll just refer to her as Nanette in this episode. Okay, so whenever my aunt would come into town, she would bring her 2 German Shepherds with her. And like I said, Cole kind of made me a little nervous. But with Nanette, obviously, if my aunt was walking around, she would jump on her and stuff like that. But whenever Nanette approached me, it was almost basically unlike the other dogs in the family, they would sense my dog phobia and take advantage of it, which obviously doesn't help. But with Nanette, it was like she could sense everything that I didn't like about dogs, and she wouldn't do those things around me. So it was like she could sense that I didn't like my personal space, being interfered and stuff like that. I didn't like it when a dog jumped on you or licked you or anything like that. It was just, nasty. Hated that stuff so much. But she never did any of that around me. It was almost like we could... It's really hard to explain, because I didn't talk about this that much back then. But I was actually very comfortable around her. She was like, okay, I understand that you're scared of dogs. I won't do the things to you that you don't like. It was so rare, and I'm like, why can't all dogs be like this? If they want to be all jumpy and excited with other people, that's fine. But you would think that if a dog, especially when people say dogs are so smart, well, if they're so smart, then how come when they can sense that you're afraid of them, they take advantage of it? But anyway, she never took advantage of my fear. She would always just, she would calm down as she approached me, and she just stood very still. And I'll admit, I did pet her. And she never did any of the things that I didn't like about dogs. And I was okay with her. It actually got to the point where I was so comfortable with her that whenever my aunt would let her outside, to run around and stuff, and then she would come back in, she would walk up to me, and then she would lay down in front of me. Now, normally, I would not like that. But I was comfortable with her. And I'll admit, when she did that, I would pet her. And now here's the funny part, okay? Even though Nanette and Cole lived in the same house, if Cole ever tried to come up to me when Nanette was in front of me, she would bark at him, basically telling him to back off. So it was like, instead of taking advantage of my dog phobia, she was protecting me from other dogs. So, I mean, like I said, if all dogs were like that, I wouldn't have a problem with them. But unfortunately, that is the only dog who has never taken advantage of my phobia. And that's why I was okay with her. And I was sad when she died. I don't remember. I think, if I remember correctly, I think she was just at home one day with my aunt and uncle, and she just collapsed or something. I don't remember. But I do have a picture of her somewhere, but I haven't seen it in a long time. So if I ever do find it, I'll maybe post a picture on the community tab. But yeah, I was just so comfortable with her, and I was grateful for once. But unfortunately, that was the only dog in the family that was like that, which is unfortunate. But at the end of the day, I mean, I give Nanette respect because she earned it. And all I can say is I was just very grateful. But, I want to believe that there are more dogs like that, but that's the only one I've seen, so. And unfortunately, I've seen a lot of dogs in my life, so. So, that's basically what I have to say about this. What are your thoughts on this? Because, I mean, have you ever heard of a dog who never took advantage of someone's dog phobia? Because like I said, that is the only dog I've ever known who wouldn't do it. And again, I was grateful. And so Nanette, thank you for protecting me, because it would always frustrate me when the family dogs would always be in my personal space when I clearly didn't want them around me, and some of my relatives didn't do anything to stop their dogs from being in my personal space. I remember, now I don't know if this dog was a male or a female, but just because this is the only time I've heard this dog's name, but there was another dog in the family. It was also a German Shepherd. Their name was Liesel. I don't even know how to spell it, but I never liked that dog. And I remember, I think I was like maybe 8 or 9, and I was sitting in a chair, and Liesel was trying to get up into my space and lick my face, and I clearly didn't want that. So I'm trying to keep myself out of Liesel's reach to the point that I'm literally standing up on the chair. And my relatives see that happening, and they don't do anything. And then they actually criticized me for trying to get out of Liesel's reach, and I'm like, what is wrong with you? But all I can say is, I mean, But yeah, my relative actually was in a car accident shortly after that, and Liesel died in that car crash, and I'm just going to be honest, I was not sad. I was not sad at all. But to Nanette, all I can say is thank you for being a good dog. I'm willing to say it when you earn it, and you did. Alright, so let me know what you think about this, and let's have a great conversation in the comments.